Hi everybody, my husband has just messaged me, just 1 second while I reply to him. Otherwise, he'll just keep messaging and messaging. Right, there we go. He's just messaging me about the work we're having done. We've got workmen in the house today. So I'm doing a video now about Nora, our book boss Nora, and her journey with her cover for her new book. Nora's written lots and lots of books. I actually don't know how many books she's published. She's actually absolutely awesome. But I would say that Nora struggles with designing book covers, as everybody does. And the only reason why I'm good at it is I used to be a VA. I've been a business coach for nearly 10 years. Well, yeah, 9 years. And I've been working on Canva basically for 12 years. So, but I can show you how I use Canva. That's what's really great about this academy because I use Canva in exactly the same way every time. I'm not some great designer on Canva. I just have some principles that I always follow, and my designs always look quite good and look quite well designed, even though it's just the same principles that I'm following each time. So I want to share Nora's journey with her book cover and how important it has been for Nora to post her book covers. There's no shame in this academy. You're not designers. I'm not a designer. It's just that I've been using Canva for 12 years. But I'm not expecting everybody in here to be amazing designers on Canva. But the point is, the more you show me your work, the more you get feedback and help from me and support, then the better your cover is going to be. And the better your cover is going to be, the more sales you're going to make. We choose the book that we like the look of and the book that fits what we're searching for. We also choose books based on how many reviews they've got. But I think one of the main things is the cover. If something has got a really bad cover, we're probably not going to choose it. So I want to show you Nora's journey and how we've got to where we are now. And I want you to learn some Canva tricks. So I was going to share my screen as I was doing the cover, but I would have been here for a long time fiddling around. So I think it is better that I'm showing it you in retrospect so I can show you what I did. Right, so this is Nora's book. Brilliant book idea. She's got the skills to do the keyword research, has got herself a really great niche. Nora is a storybook writer, fiction book writer, and non-fiction, I think, Nora. And what she's doing here is combining a murder mystery story with a word search. So the idea is that you read a chapter and then you help find all the clues for who done it, who done the murder in the word search at the end of each chapter. That's what I understand the book is about. So this was Nora's first cover. And what I did was I compared it with the top covers on Amazon. So I'm going to show you the top cover. So what I did was I searched murder mystery word. Murder mystery word search. And I looked through all of these for Nora to see which were the best sellers. And this one came up as one of the best sellers. And I really liked this cover as well. I really liked the design. And so what I thought was it looks like a murder scene, doesn't it? It looks kind of foreboding. The moon is out, it's dusk, there's bats flying in the sky, there's trees, they've not got leaves on. So it's got this kind of murderous feeling about it. And, even the other ones, they've got like a murderous feel, murder at the antique shop, and then it's obviously nighttime. You've got the trees again. So there's a bit of a theme going on with the well-performing books in this niche. You've got this one, it kind of looks like a crime scene. So what I could ascertain from the top performing book covers in this niche was that in order to make money in this niche, we need to have a murderous look and feel about the cover, and it to be kind of a murdery feel slash crime scene. So going back to Nora's first cover, it kind of looks like Picnic in the Park summer's day. There's nothing about this first cover that says murder or crime or puzzle solving or solve the murder mystery. It's just a really nice cover, very pretty, very nice. She obviously wanted murder at the Mayfair, so it is a photo of a Mayfair, but we're just not getting that murderous crime, criminal feel about it. Okay, so that was my first feedback to Nora. And then she did another cover that day, which was this one. So that is a lot more foreboding, isn't it? It's very dark and eerie. And then we've got the black and red writing. And I just said to Nora, because she's such a great member of our community, she's always posting, helping other people, she's active, she's engaged, she's one of our top contributors. So I said to Nora, look, just send me the link to this cover and I'll make a few tweaks of it, because it just wasn't right. And I know what's not right about it. It's just not looking professionally designed, even though she's got the right look and feel. So I got Nora to then send me the Canva link to it. Luckily, Nora had Canva Pro. So then I was able to make some tweaks to that image, to that cover, and come up with this one. And this one looks like something you want to buy. You know, I would say it's probably better than most of the others, if not the best one. It depends on people's taste, obviously. So I want to show you now in this video how we went from this to this. I want to show you what I did. So the first thing that I did, I removed the writing because I wanted to work on it as a blank canvas. I wanted to try and keep Nora's image that she had. Um, because obviously it's Nora's cover and Nora likes it. So, and it shows the Mayfair, doesn't it? So what I did was I got that cover. I thought it needs some zhuzhing up, some va-va-voom. It needs some colour, a little bit of light, but it still needs to feel like it's a spooky murder scene. So it still needs to feel like it's dark and there's things that are going to be happening in the night. So what I did was let's just go back there. I copied this. So I've got a copy here. I removed the background because I wanted to make the sky bluer, a bit like this other one. Let me show you. I liked the fact that it really is reflecting the light and it looks like dusk in this one. So I used that as inspiration for this. And then I wanted to I removed the background of this one. So we're keeping the darkness. And then I went to this one and I wanted to make it blue. So I went over here to edit, try and remember what I did. Went over to edit and then I chose, is it tundra? Let me see. So I want to make it blue. I'm just going to have a look down here. Blue. There. That's looking a bit bluer, isn't it? And then I went over, so I've gone down here to just one of these filters. I've gone into the Canva filters here. And what I want to also do is just make it a bit bluer by going here to adjust. And I'm cooling the temperature, making it blue, and might make it just a little bit darker. So then this one, I thought, oh, we want it maybe just slightly darker even. So I'll go to edit for that one. And I'm going to go to the filters. And then just having a look at these filters. Astro. Noir, rose. I chose one of these. I'm not sure which one I chose. In fact, maybe I should look. Ah, Nordic. Let's have a look at which one I chose. Edit. Filters. Oh, I've gone for tundra. I thought I did. So I've gone for tundra. Let's try and find that one. Tundra. Where's it gone? Tundra. Yes, that's it. And that's perfect, isn't it? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold the control key because you get better control of your elements when you hold that control key down. And then I'm going to drag it exactly into position over the other photo. Yeah, so it looks like we've got the dark village fair, the dark village and the church, and it just looks like that dusky sky from the other one. And this just gives it a little bit of depth of field. I might just darken it just slightly as well, and perhaps I did that. I can't remember. But if I adjust that and go to brightness, I can just make it a little bit darker. So that was the base for the book cover. And then what I did was I found some fonts. So I searched here for spooky letters. Spooky letters. And it came up with, if I go to see all, it came up with this one. And then it says magic recommendations, see all. So I was able to then go see all, and there's all these spooky, murderous letters, and you can actually change the colour of them. So I'm not going to sit here and do it exactly how I did it, but let me see. So this was the font that I used. So I wanted the word murder mystery. So I'm going to go magic recommendations, see all. And now I want the letters for the word murder. I don't need that C. D, E. And you can do this with any letters. So you don't have to write spooky letters. You could do bubble letters, fun letters, gold letters. You know, you can have any letters here. So Murder. I want a U and an M and a U. Let's try and find the U. I'm just going to go magic recommends again, see all. And I'm going to, there we go, there's the U, murder. So what I did then was I made them smaller and I put them here. And I manipulated them and played with these letters until I was happy with them. Murder. Yeah. So I just played around with them until I was happy with the placement. And then I think I also made them a lighter red colour. Can you see? It's a bit more of a lighter red so that you could really see it pop in. So I made it a really bright, light red. Obviously, murder, red is the colour of blood. So we're adding the spookiness and the murder feeling to this scene that is basically a very innocent scene, isn't it? It is a village fete. So I'm just going to delete those and go and get my letters from the other one so that I'm not spending lots of time manipulating those letters whilst I'm on this call. So let's delete those. Okay, so then I had the word murder. And then I wanted the word mystery. And this does take a little bit of manipulation. Murder mystery. I have the word mystery in a bright white colour. My Canva has gone crazy. It's not colouring things in white. There. Murder mystery. And then I wanted the words word search book. So add a subheading, word search book. And I had the word mystery. I kept that red as well, just to match the top. You don't have to, you can do it whatever colour you want to. I think I got rid of the bold here for word search book, and I just put that underneath. Click on the three dots, align to page and centre. Again with this, three dots, align to page, centre. So then you've got murder, mystery, word search book. So I was looking at what Nora had written. Murder, mystery, word search, puzzle for adults. Murder at the village fair, large print, Nora Day. So I thought, what else is going to make this scene light up and just feel a bit more alive? And again, I went back to this book here and I saw that the windows were lit up. So I thought, how can I light up these windows too, so that it looks a little bit like that? So I went to elements and I got a little square, little tiny square, and I'm going to make it a yellowy orange colour. And then I'm going to really put down the transparency because I just want a little glow in those windows. And then I'll just put it over the window. You can zoom right in if you want to be really, really, really careful. Again, press control for that control. Fill that window. Maybe a little bit more transparency because we just want a subtle glow. And then I'm going to fill each window just with that subtle glow of yellow. Copy. Using my control key at all times to get that subtle glow. And you won't notice that I've put a square over it. You know, a designer would design this in Photoshop, and then you probably wouldn't have that tiny little black gap there. But that's the only difference really with using Canva, just the tiny little touches. So I did the same with this house. I'm just making them smaller using that control key to make them fit and not go outside the window. Using the control key. Harry, go in your bed, upstairs. Sorry guys, I've got workman here. He keeps coming down. But if I let the dog in here, he'll just bark. Okay, so we're going to zoom back out and just check that we're happy with that transparency. We want it quite subtle and we don't want it obvious that I've put boxes on there because otherwise it'll look like a child has done it. So if you're not happy with it, you can just lower that transparency down a little bit more. It just gives a subtle glow. Lowering that transparency down, lowering it down on each one. Just to give a little glow. And you're probably like, oh, I can't even see the glow anymore, but you will in a minute when I show you what I then did. Just lower that transparency down. Ideally, the transparency would be the same for each window. But, you know, some people will have brighter lights on than others. Okay, so then after that, I searched for orange glow return, and it gave me this little orangey glow. Now I'm going to make that really tiny, and I'm going to reduce the transparency of that. So I just want a little glow coming out of each window. I think I made it a bit yellowy as well, so I'm just going to make that a yellowy orange. See? I'm just going to lower that transparency just a bit more. It's just a bit too much. We just want a subtle glow coming out of each window. We can use the control key just to move it around. You can make them bigger, you can make them smaller, you can make them oranger. So there we have it. So now we've got the glow in that cottage there. And the other thing that I thought, well, we're going to call this Murder at the Village Fair, but the M in the word murder is hiding that Ferris wheel. So what I decided to do was search for a Ferris wheel so that you could see clearly that it is a fair. Harry, go on upstairs in your bed. I have to say it to him like this, otherwise he'll just bark at the door. In your bed. So I used this Ferris wheel. I quite like this one as well. But I thought I wasn't sure about the little carriages on that one. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at all the different ones, but I decided on this one. I'm going to reduce the transparency because it's a little bit black. And I have that here quite big so that it's sticking right out. And then I moved it backwards because I want to see the M. So I go position, backward. There you have the Ferris wheel. And just make sure you're happy with the size and the position of it. So that's the Ferris wheel. And I also had a curtain here, like a circus curtain, just to give it, again, the feeling that it's at the village fair. So circus curtain. And I think I went for this one. And then I flipped it this way. And then I got a tree because I wanted a tree to come up the side. I got the idea for the tree from this book here. And some of the other murder mystery books had got a tree just in the corner. I couldn't find a really lifelike tree like that, but you might want to, have a look for something a bit more lifelike. But I typed the word spooky tree, and I basically chose one that I liked the shape of. Let me look down here. It's probably disappeared because I've already used it. So I just chose one that I like the shape of. I wanted something that was quite plain at the bottom, but that branched out a little bit more at the top. So the one I chose has disappeared because I've already chosen it. So I'm going to go Control and copy, just show you. That's the tree that I chose. And you can't see the letters there. So it was a small tree and I've just made it bigger so that it comes right up to here. And I want to make that curtain a bit bigger so that it goes behind that tree. So I'm just going to make that curtain bigger. And I'm going to position the curtain backwards so that it's behind the tree. I do want it there. I want it behind that. Let's see what's going on. Oh, that's very odd. That's very odd. Right, so that's my tree, and I just want to move that tree behind the letters. Backwards, backwards, backwards. So I've moved the tree behind, and I've moved the curtain behind the tree. I might just move that curtain there so you can see the spire. And now I wanted some branches coming out of the R, because when you have this feeling of a 3D effect, then you get a really nicely designed feeling. And you may not think this is important, but your customer will subconsciously see that it's a well-designed cover, and parts of that subconscious ignition, I'm igniting that person's subconscious, is if I use a few elements and I make it just really look well designed. That Ferris wheel, actually, I think it should be darker so that it stands out better. So what I did was I got a spooky branch, tree branch, then I chose one that I liked. So I've got this one. Now I'm going to flip it. Now I'm going to make it a bit smaller. I'm going to turn it a little bit. I'm going to use my control key to just position it here. Yeah. So it looks like it's part of that branch that's coming out. So I'm really happy with that, because this branch here really looks like it's weaving in this letter. And this branch here looks like it's coming through the back of the R and then coming through to the front. And I think, you know, that is one of the key things that makes this cover, is that feeling of depth, and then the glowing lights in the houses. You can add, you know, some more glow, lower the transparency, and add, you know, just a little bit more glow to these houses too. I possibly did a little bit more of an orange color on the final version. So now we've got a beautiful cover here just from this very plain one. And now we want to add, we've got large print there. So I added, I think it was price discount. And I think it was something like this one. So I put that here. Then I added Nora's name. All I did was copy that, go over to the one that I created, paste. Then I go 3 dots, alignment, center. And then what I did was I thought it would be nice if Nora's name was in the same color as the sky. So I go to text color, I go to add, I go to the color picker, and I picked a light blue. I then went to effects. I then went to neon, and then I then made the intensity less. And I also separated the letter spacing a little bit more. I also made it just a bit lighter because I wasn't happy with that color blue. I wanted it a bit lighter. I hope you can see what a perfectionist I'm being. And that's because it's a book cover. It's very important. So then we want the words large print here. Large print. I made this sticker a gold colour. Something like that, yeah, gold. I reduced the line space here, line space, reduce, made it smaller. I then made this line, the white line here, red. I then put a red outline on this font. So effects, outline, red, I then added a ribbon here. So I'm going to put ribbon. There is a ribbon here, actually. You could have this one if you want a gold ribbon. You know, that could go there. I chose a red one. So just let me find the red ribbon I chose is here. Flip. Made it bigger to kind of match the width of this. I'm just matching the width. And then I just positioned it where I was happy with it, which is about there. Some of this will cut off, you know, when it goes to print, some of that will be cut off. So that's about right. And then I wrote the words story plus word search fun for adults. And then I just put that here. Reduce the line space a little bit more. Make sure I'm happy with that. That's just still a little bit dark. I'm going to lighten it up a little bit more. So it still looks blue, but it's just a bit lighter. I don't think I had it bold. That's better. And then I put Murder at the Village Fair along the top here because Nora has got Murder at the Village Fair. So I just made sure I had all the elements that Nora wants in there. Murder, mystery, word search, puzzle, large print. Nora's name, then we want Murder at the Village Fair. So I went to fonts, subheading, Murder at the Village Fair. I actually thought fair was spelled Fayre, but apparently there's both spellings. I had to look it up. So I wanted that to be, I think I did black writing. And then I wanted a background. Obviously, we can't read that. So then I go to effects. Then I go background color. And then I thought I'll pick up this cream color with the background here. So then I picked up the cream. So you can use the color picker. That's a little bit dark. Then I want to make it just a bit smaller. And again, 3 dots, align to page, center. And I think that is everything. That is the book cover. So how beautiful is that? And when I say beautiful, it's a murder scene. So I thought you could put some little words. So if there were some 3D words, because it's a word search as well, it's just missing the word search element. So if there was any little 3D words or cubes, I would have them scattered on the floor here. And you know, reduce the transparency so that you can see behind them. So I'll just see if there's letter cube. No, so this kind of thing, but definitely not coloured. So you could have, if I go edit, if I go filters, if I go black and white, it's that kind of thing. You could have some scattered letters scattered on the floor. No, just to give it that feeling that it's a word search puzzle. But I didn't do that. But Nora, you can absolutely do that if you want to. Or you could put a, you know, a photo of a word search puzzle here and put large print at the top or underneath here. You know, you can play around with that. It's just missing, you know, an element that is the word search part. So that is it, guys. That is how to zhuzh up or add sparkles and sprinkles to your cover photo is by adding that depth, adding light and dark and things that glow and things that are faded. You know, we removed the background, didn't we, of the whole scene so that we could have a glowy blue twilight sky. You could make that a bit darker possibly, but I like the contrast. And then we've got the really in your face letters. So it's very clear and very easy to read, isn't it? It's very easy to read. And actually you could actually glow this. You could go neon for a glow and then just lower that intensity just a little bit, just make that a bit smaller. Actually make it a bit bigger because I just wanted it to match the size of this here, right there. So yeah, hopefully you've learned a lot from this lesson. You're probably thinking, oh my goodness me, that's a lot of work. But actually, that took me, how long is it? Half an hour to show you. If your book cover is taking you 2 and 3 hours, I promise you it's worth that time investment in your cover because people will choose yours over and above the other ones in the row that when they're flicking through, when they're glancing through, they're going to choose this one a lot of the time than the other murder mystery word search books on there. Even if the others have got more reviews, this one looks really good. So, okay, I'm going to leave that training there. Let me know your thoughts. I hope it helps you out. You can use this type of cover for anything. It doesn't have to be murder mystery. You don't have to use these spooky letters. They could be beautiful gold letters. And you don't have to have a spooky dark scene behind it. It could be something else. It's the principles that I'm teaching you that give you the transferable skills to create lots and lots and lots of book covers ahead in the future, and so that your business can fly and flourish. That's what I want. You can scale your self-publishing business up into the stratosphere. Right, I'll see you on the next training. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.